Narratives which continue for thousands of years, galactic civilizations that span across hundreds, thousands, and even millions of planets, interplanetary economies, huge space military forces capable of making ruins of entire worlds. There's something about Empires Among the Stars that really captured my imagination from a very early age. In literary science fiction, depictions of galactic empires are common. The trend was kicked off in the 1940s by legendary science fiction writer Isaac Asimov in his Foundation series. The Foundation series focused on the fall of an old galactic empire and the rise of a new one. The Foundation books paved the way for other authors to create new fictionalized empires among the stars. In this video, I will be comparing the galactic empires of the Foundation Universe, the Dune Universe from Frank Herbert's series, and the Hyperion Universe from the science fiction series by Dan Simmons, which was published from 1989 to 1997. In Asimov's Foundation series, mankind inhabited every part of the Milky Way galaxy. Millions of worlds are inhabited. The full series, including the Robot series and the Empire series, spans over the course of approximately 17,000 standard years. Similarly, in Dune, humankind is spread to countless worlds within our galaxy. The Dune Encyclopedia measures the time span of the Dune Universe at approximately 34,000 years, while the Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson Expanded Universe measures the time span at just over 17,000 standard years. The Hyperion Cantos has the least amount of inhabited worlds and the shortest time span when compared to the other two. Under 400 worlds have been colonized in the Hyperion series, and the time span covered just under 1,000 standard years, starting from the year 0 in the Hegemony Standard Calendar. Asimov originally based his interstellar empire on the Roman Empire. Like Frank Herbert with his Dune series, Asimov was inspired by the work of Edward Gibbons, who wrote The History of the Decline and Fall of Rome, a work comprised of 6 volumes explaining the fall of the Roman Empire. In Foundation, the first empire lasted nearly 12,000 years before it began to decline. These changes had gone unnoticed by all other than Harry Seldon, who utilized a science known as psychohistory to predict the fall of the old empire and ensure the survival of the new one. Asimov's fictional galactic empire could not exist if not for the concept of hyperspace, a sub-region of space in which humans could travel through at faster than light speed. The capital planet of the old empire lied at the center of the galaxy. It had been called Trantor, and the military forces of the Empire had been known as the Imperial Navy. Over the course of the Foundation series, the Empire is plunged into centuries of decline and anarchy, a Dark Ages. The Foundations, the first and the second, according to Harry Seldon's plan, would eventually recreate the Imperium by revitalizing the scientifically quiescent and technologically static galaxy. The origins of humanity in Asimov's series has been lost to time. Knowledge of Earth has almost entirely faded. Frank Herbert's Dune series contains a galactic empire full of planets who do commerce through use of the Spacing Guild, who use faster-than-light engines navigated by genetically modified humans. The Chome Company controlled all affairs relating to economics in the Imperium. Its board of directors was controlled by the Padishah Emperor, who resided on the planet Kaitane, and the Landsraad, who consisted of the noble houses of the Empire. The Bene Gesserit Sisterhood existed as a silent partner in Chome alongside the Spacing Guild. The Emperor's imperial forces were known as the Sardaukar. The Sardaukar were ruthless, and they were believed to be the greatest soldiers in the galaxy. The planet Arrakis, also known as Dune, was home to the most valued commodity in the galaxy, the spice melange, which extended life, heightened awareness, and was key to space travel. The structure of the Empire is reformed several times throughout the course of the Dune series, at first resembling medieval feudal society, and later a theocratic dictatorship. In Dune, Old Earth is mentioned a few times, but it is largely forgotten. Only the most learned in the Dune universe, such as the Bene Gesserit Reverend Mothers, remember Old Earth. Both Dune and the Foundation series deal with predicting the future and using the knowledge of what's to come to shape a better path for humanity. In Dune, this is done through prescience brought on by a combination of special genes and intake of the spice melange. And in Foundation, this is done through a complex mathematical science called psychohistory, as I mentioned before. In the Hyperion Cantos by Dan Simmons, only 176 of the 376 worlds within the hegemony of man are parts of the World Web. The World Web is a system of unified worlds connected by Flatline and Farcaster. Farcaster technology allowed instant travel between worlds, and Flatline provides communication. The worlds within the web were interdependent. The rest of the worlds are outback planets, which are considered protectorate of the hegemony. Force is the name for the hegemony collected armed forces. There were 4 branches of Force: Force Ground, Force Marine, Force Navy, and Force Space. Like both Foundation and Dune, the Hyperion series involves the fall and rise of galactic society. When the hegemony of man eventually fell, the Pax became the primary governing body, an organization which rose to power due to the rise of the Catholic Church, which found a way to offer immortality through the use of a parasite known as the cruciform. Unlike in the Dune series and the Foundation series, the origin of the planet Earth is not lost in the mist of time. As old Earth died, the Farcasters and Flatlines were provided by the Technocore, which evolved from AI software initially created by humans and developed into an independent society separate from humanity. The goals and motivations of the Technocore are somewhat ambiguous at the start of the series, but much is revealed as the series continues. It is curious that while at the start of this series, it seems that the people of the Hyperion Universe choose to work with their AI counterparts. By the start of the Dune series, all thinking machines have been destroyed and prohibited under penalty of death. The people of the Dune Universe had seen the dangers of AI long ago and believed that the potential cost outweighed the benefits. The Foundation series has a less pessimistic view of artificial intelligence than both the Dune series and Hyperion. Asimov's Robot series deals with the moral implications of AI technology and its interaction with humankind. Asimov depicts AI as almost human. He seems to argue that robots are every bit as alive as men. Hyperion is the only series out of the 3 that involves some kind of time travel. In the Hyperion series, it is not only possible for the past to affect the future, but for the future to affect the past as well. In Dune, the future is constantly shifting as different paths are taken. It is the Kwisatz Haderach who can see the pattern, who shapes destiny through his choices. The Foundation series seems to rely somewhat on the assumption of determinism, which is the belief in philosophy that all events are determined by previously existing causes. Therefore, even far-reaching future outcomes can be predicted through calculation. These 3 series are some of my favorite examples of Galactic Empires, but of course, there are many others throughout science fiction. George Lucas's Star Wars, Jerry Pournelle's Codominium series, even games like Warhammer 40,000, which is set within the Imperium of Man. They all share similar characteristics. They usually depend on some form of FTL travel in order to maintain connectivity between worlds, whether it is achieved through farcasting or hyperspace. Due to the size of such civilizations, there's almost always some unrest and resistance against the authority of the Empire. The Foundation series and the Dune series are classics. The Hyperion Cantos is one of the best science fiction series involving a galactic empire to come out of the modern era. Dune built on the work that Asimov did in his Foundation series, and Dan Simmons brought even more new ideas to the concept. Through the work of these talented writers, we can glimpse the potential futures of mankind beyond the planet Earth. The possibilities are as endless as the universe itself. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the video, make sure you like and subscribe for more content, and also consider supporting this channel on Patreon if you really enjoy the content. I'm hoping to continue to dive deeper into both the Foundation series and Hyperion alongside Dune and A Song of Ice and Fire on this channel, so be on the lookout for that. And if you're interested in voting on video topics, also click the Patreon link in the description.